Hello. This is sort of a continuation video from a few weeks ago when I started talking about, lab work and vitamins and the reflux and everything like that. So it's really sort of a story that's evolved. And today I went to the doctor, so here's a few things that I know. Nothing's horrible or bad, but just a few things that are annoying, I guess. First of all, I think I've mentioned in some of my earlier videos that I have been borderline anemic for probably about 14 years, since my youngest daughter was born. And I take iron and I do a good job for a few months, and then I kind of taper off and don't do good, and then my annual checkup comes up, and of course I come back with low iron, low hemoglobin, low hematocrit. So anyway, I thought, well, I've been taking my iron, since I got my band, so maybe I am coming up with it. And I've had testing done in the past to figure out, where I was losing blood or what was going on, and what they think it boils down to is my periods. So anyway, my labs did not change. My total iron was 27, and the range is 40 to 175. My percent of saturation for my iron was 7, and the range is 15 to 50. And my hemoglobin count is 11.4. Normal is 11.7 to 15.5. That's actually come up some. It usually is in like 10. And hematocrit 34. And the range is 35 to 45, and that's come up just a little bit too. I don't know that we've ever looked specifically at my iron. Seems like maybe like 10 years ago we did. So I would assume maybe my iron has come up a little bit, but I'm not sure. So I'll just stick with, I'll go on down the road here. My vitamin B was within the normal range. It is, vitamin B12 was 435, and the low end of normal is 200, so I was pretty good on that. Wouldn't hurt for that to come up some, so I'm going to start taking additional supplements for B12 because it's in the mid-lower range of normal. And let's see, really that's about it that I think that is worth mentioning. My blood pressure, I never had high blood pressure really, except after my last daughter was born and while I was pregnant with her. But lately it's been like superb. Today it was 112/60. So can't complain on any of that. I just need to work on my iron. So here's my iron plan. On Thursday, today's Tuesday, on Thursday morning at 7 o'clock, I am going to have what is called endometrial ablation. And I don't know if any of you females out there have had that procedure before. If you have, I would love to hear from you and hear how it turned out and if it's been successful for you. Basically, if you're not familiar with that, what it is sort of like a last resort before a hysterectomy. It's a procedure that they do to your uterus to stop the monthly bleeding, and therefore hopefully I'll stop slowly bleeding to death, and that's our plan. That's what we think is wrong with my iron. So I'll be doing that on Thursday morning. Now, how that ties in with my reflux is I've continued to have the reflux, although I have talked to 3 different people at my surgeon's office, and they don't think that what I'm having has anything to do with a prolapse around my band or stretching my pouch out too big or anything like that. What he did think, I called for 2 reasons. One is I called just because I have the reflux and I don't like it. And the second is that if I'm laying there under some sedation on Thursday morning, I want to be able to not have to worry about having to clear my airway, from reflux. And then seems like there was another reason why I wanted to talk to them. Oh, just to find out what my band is made out of, and it's a little creepy. They're doing this in my uterus, this electrolysis, electrodes, electricity, something is what does the procedure, and it only takes 90 seconds to do it. They're going to do a few other things, so I'll be under the sedation for, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes, I'm not sure. But anyway, I want to make sure, and the gynecologist wanted to make sure that there wasn't any way that there was going to be some kind of a harmful reaction with anything in my band. So I needed to find out what my band was made out of, and all that's worked out, and I think that's going to be fine. So anyway, 3 times I've talked to people at my surgeon's office, and they've told me that they don't think that I have band prolapse, slippage, whatever you want to call it. So I went in today to get checked again, and what we decided to do was go ahead and take a bunch of fluid out of my band, and to serve 2 purposes. 1, just to stop the reflux at night, and 2, to make it safer for Thursday morning for me. Now I suppose if I go to sleep tonight and tomorrow night and I'm still having reflux, I'm going to cancel Thursday's appointment until we can get this under control. But he took out a lot. He took out 1.5 cc's, which puts me down to the lowest amount of fluid I've ever had in my band previous to my first fill. I have 3.75 cc's in there now. And I could tell a difference today just drinking water this afternoon. So I'd be lying if I said that I'm not disappointed that I'm going backwards on my restriction. But what I'm really excited about is, you know, I mean, I raved about my band for the first 6 months or so, and it was textbook, it was classic, it was perfect. I couldn't have asked for anything better with my band. And then all of a sudden I just started slipping into this reflux mode and had some of my fluid removed at that time, and I could tell that I had less restriction at that point. And so I haven't been losing near as fast since I had that liquid taken out. So I would imagine that I'm going to have even less restriction now. What he did tell me was that in about 2 weeks we'd start putting it back in. He said a week after my surgery. So I went ahead and just made my appointment for 2 weeks from today. And I really want to do that slow. You know, I'm not out for any awards still on being the fastest weight loser that there is. I want to do it healthy, but I want to continue with the progress that I've made, which is a steady couple pound a week weight loss. So I want to be able to get my restriction back to that point. And let's see, I gained 0.2 this week. I'm blaming it on Easter and all the salt that I had. I really, honestly, the past week have had like excellent restriction. Had a lot of stress at work, and when I'm stressed I have more restriction, my band is tighter. So I really didn't eat very much at Easter. I looked like a lap bander on my plate there, but what I did eat was something that had a whole lot of salt in it. So this morning I was back down, actually had a loss, but doesn't count because I only count my Monday weight. So I gained 0.2 this week. Hopefully next week I'll see a little bit more loss. Let's see. I'm just almost right at 80 pounds, and I'll stand up and show you what that looks like right now. This is me 80 pounds out. Size 18s. Remember when I was all excited because I bought these 18s instead of the 20s, and they were pretty tight fit. Well, I'm starting to have the same problem in this area with these several pairs of pants that I bought that were in 18s. But occasionally I go into a store and what I have to buy is still a size 20, so I guess you can't base it for every brand on that. Let's see, what else do I want to say? I had my ring resized. It's been an 8.5 since I got it. Got it for my 20th anniversary about 3 years ago, and I went in and had it sized down to a 7.5, and I thought that that might be too tight. Hasn't been. It's been just perfect. So I am running out of time, so I think I'll just close with that, and I will update again maybe on Friday and let you know how the procedure went and if I was able to lose the reflux. Cross your fingers. See you later.